are the powerful.
Rodriguez is right about that, man. He's got Blade. Man, that guy needs to play Blade, man. If they can't get Wesley Snipes to play Blade, he should play Blade. God, with the glasses. That Marshall Ali guy, he needs to play Blade. Do it. Cast him as Blade. Get Wesley Snipes first. But if you can't, Marshall Ali.
Ladies and gentlemen, two-time Academy Award winner, Mahershala Ali. Thank you. Thank you.
Who was right about this? Who was right about this? Mahershala Ali is playing Blade. Yo, what's going on YouTube? 0088 here, and we are talking Marvel Phase 4 and a little bit of Phase 5 in there. I was requested to make this video. To be honest, I should have made this video a long time. I was going to make this video anyway, but you know what it is, yeah? It's getting to that point where after Endgame, I was just like, man, I feel like I'm kind of done, you know, like, clearly, when the news came out, I was a bit hyped. I was like, oh, what's going on? What's going to happen? What are they going to announce? But then, like, come on, man. Captain America's old, probably dead. Iron Man is dead. Spoiler alert, by the way, a bit late for that, innit? If you don't know what's going on by now, I don't know why you're even watching this video. Thor is becoming a fat old man or something. I don't know what's going on with Thor. And we're going to find out in this film, I guess. That's what we're going to talk about today. And the OG Avengers are gone. But this isn't Avengers Cinematic Universe, this is the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So there's so many other characters, but I just feel like a world without Iron Man and Captain America feels like the DC Universe without Superman or Batman. This just doesn't feel right. I know the Marvel Universe is way bigger than Iron Man and Captain America and SpiderMan, but without those three dudes all together and alive, it just doesn't feel right. But we'll see. Obviously I'm going to watch some Phase 4 movies. I'm nowhere near as excited for Phase 4 as I was for the original MCU movies as they were coming out, you know. Like, I watched Iron Man growing up, I saw Captain America in the cartoons, I read the comics when I was a kid, but the novelty of seeing your superheroes or cartoons or comic books from a different medium, you know, video games, all come to life into live action, that novelty is starting to wear off as time goes on, as they're remaking and adapting and making sequels to all these classic films. As a kid, seeing a cartoon character come to life was woo! But now it's changing, it's getting deeper, and politics is getting involved. I will be talking some politics in this video, so yeah, bear with me. So I know some of you hate that shit, but that's how I feel about it. That's one of the biggest reasons why I'm probably not as excited for Phase 4 as I was for Phase 1, 2 and 3, because the politics is going to take over, possibly, than the quality of the movie. But Kevin Feige hopefully hasn't changed too much. He's definitely got a bit more woke, but hopefully he hasn't gone a bit too far. But we'll see. Let's go through these films. First of all, Black Widow, coming out May 1st, 2020. The director is Kate Shortland. It's going to have Scarlett Johansson in it, Rachel Weisz, I like Rachel Weisz, Florence Poe, I don't know exactly who she is. I think she's probably going to be playing the new Black Widow, the blonde one, Yelenova Belova, I don't know what her name is, I don't know much about that character. And got David Harbour, who I think is going to be playing Red Guardian, I'm not sure. Anyway, so the film's going to be taking place in between Infinity War and Civil War. Civil War happened and then they all go into hiding, and then I guess Black Widow does some missions during this time. So it's a bit weird, like, I don't get it, like, Captain America, surely Chris Evans is going to come back. One of the biggest news is that Iron Man is going to be a part of this. There was massive rumours, and I think it might be confirmed, that Robert Downey Jr. is going to reprise his role as Iron Man in this film, after I've just said Iron Man's gone. But I'm excited for that. But obviously this is a prequel to Endgame and Infinity War, so obviously Iron Man is alive them times. And it makes sense, because this is going to be during the Civil War era. And I like this. I feel like more movies should come out during the Civil War era, because Civil War was such a long war, technically. Like, rather than seeing a civil dispute in the movie, we need to see the war and how it played out. I'd love for there to be like a Disney Plus now. I'd love for there to be a Disney Plus show that was based around Civil War. That would be really cool, and like get if you could get Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans, maybe you could see there was a cat and mouse going on. That would be a really cool Disney Plus show. Do you know how much money that would make? But I don't think they could afford to get Robert Downey Jr. just for a TV show. I don't know if that's possible. But anyway, let me read through this. It's been confirmed that Black Widow will be set shortly after the events of Captain America: Civil War. And after Comic-Con, blah, 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 we know that Natasha will be facing off with villains like Red Guardian and Taskmaster. If you saw Taskmaster in the Avengers game, it looks really good. Like, and from the concept art, it looks very similar, actually. They even fight on the bridge. That looks just like the video game, which is really weird in the concept art. But, yeah, so it's really funny. I wonder if they've been, like, talking to each other, Marvel... Crystal Dynamics and Square Enix have been talking to Marvel Studios about, you know, what are you going to do next? Can we integrate it in our game? It's really weird. Anyway, I'm going off on a tangent. With any luck, we'll also delve into an origin story. There are a lot of gaps in the Marvel Cinematic Universe timeline, and this eventually fill it in. Yeah, I'm excited for that. I'm more excited for this female-led movie than I was for Captain Marvel. There's no I mean, it's kind of far away. It's in May next year. But so far, there's no political crap about it. I'm just excited. Scarlett Johansson isn't going around saying this movie isn't for white men. This is a movie for all MCU fans. I'm actually excited to see this. I'm excited to see the Civil War dynamic. Will we see Chris Evans as Captain America? Will we see Hawkeye? Will we see all these other characters that we haven't seen since Endgame and stuff like that? So that's exciting. Let's move on. Now, The Eternals, coming out November 6, 2020. Ooh, next year. The director is Chloe Zhao. That's 2 female directors already, so there's the diversity there behind the screen. I ain't got a problem with that. Hopefully these directors know what they're doing. I don't really know. I've never heard of these female directors before, but I'm hoping they can deliver. Before, I never really heard of the male directors. Marvel used to like to pluck, you know, different directors out of anywhere, like the fresh ones that they can stick their nails in and control. I know it sounds horrible, but at the same time it's true. If you imagine they got Martin Scorsese or Francis Ford Coppola, you know what they've been saying recently. Imagine they brought them in to direct some of these films, that they'll deliberately fuck it up. But anyway, the cast is Richard Madden, Angelina Jolie, Selma Hayek, Kumail Nanjiani, Lauren Ridloff, Brian Tyree Henry, Liam McCough, what can't I even say her name, Don Lee. Yeah, Marvel Studios revealed the full cast of Eternals and then later added Kit Harington. Now this is sick, I'm excited. The only reason I'm excited for this is so I can see my nigga Jon Snow versus my nigga Robb Stark and brothers doing battle. I think they're fighting each other. I'm not sure, I don't know much about the Eternals from the comics, I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't know anything about the Eternals. All I know is that Kit Harington and Robb Stark in it. Kit Harington is playing Black Knight, I believe, someone called Black Knight, and Richard Madden is playing the leader, the star of the show, Icarus. Richard Madden's got like brown, reddish hair in real life, where Icarus is very, very blonde in the comics. I don't know if they're going to give him a blonde wig or dye his hair blonde, or is he just going to be a straight redhead? Let's read the blurb. Marvel Studios revealed the full cast of Eternals at Comic-Con and later added Kit Harington, Black Knight, to the roster at D23. We don't know a lot about the plot, but it's been confirmed that the movie will delve into 30,000 years worth of MCU's history, while also putting a spotlight on the Celestials. Chances are that this one will set the stage for some huge future stories. Looks like this is going to be a Guardians of the Galaxy type of film that's going to really like explain what the next phase is going to be about, who the bad guy is, who the main big threat is, basically the Thanos of phase 4. So I'm kind of looking forward to this film, though there's been some like casting, you know, they've been doing their race changing and gender bending for diversity in this film. And you know what, like the Eternals, I've never really heard of the Eternals. I know they're to do with Thanos' people and Thanos' family are Eternals, and he's an Eternal / Deviant or whatever he is. So I know that's as much as I know about the Eternals, that these godlike beings or whatever. But yeah, I never really read the comics, don't know too much about them. And I've said, if you watch my old 2015 video about diversity and race changing and gender bending in live action films based on comics, I've talked about this so much on my channel. You should know my opinion by now if you follow my channel. Check out my videos. My opinion on this is, I'm not that pissed. I'm not that bothered by the race changing and gender bending in this. I'm a little bit, if I had my way, if I wanted, the perfect thing would just be to just stick to the comic, make it as accurate as you possibly can by getting the right looking cast. I'm worried about Richard Madden's hair. Icarus seems like this like blonde, Targaryen looking, Adam Warlock looking type of main character, looking at his picture right now. I don't know if that's what Richard Madden embodies, but this is the MCU version, and these are new characters. They're not iconic characters like Spider-Man, Batman, Superman, Captain America. So you can kind of start afresh. I once said to someone that Star-Lord could have easily been a black man. Star-Lord could have easily been a black person. You know, could even, maybe pushing it, could have even been a woman. Because at the time Guardians of the Galaxy came out, it sounds crazy now, you can't do it now, because Star-Lord is iconic now. You know, the kind of swashbuckling Han Solo type of character now. You know, you got to have that image now in your head. But before, Star-Lord could have been cast as a black guy. You know how Nick Fury, people know Nick Fury kind of, but now Samuel L. Jackson's basically almost change the character black. That's how you do diversity. If you're going to change, race change, do it to characters that aren't very well known. But anyway, let me go through it. Let me show you who's playing who. Richard Madden obviously playing Icarus. Salma Hayek is playing Ajak. Now Ajak looks like looks even bigger than Icarus in the image of him in the comic. I don't know nothing about Icarus. I don't know nothing about Ajak or the Eternals, but on the point, I want to see the Ajak. I want to see the comic version Ajak, but I don't know who he is, so I can't really be like, oh, I want to see Ajak. I can't really get upset. I don't know. All I know about Ajak is literally just now. I didn't even know Ajak existed before this video. And then we got Lauren Ridloff as Mercury. Looks like another gender bending and race changed character. Both Salma Hayek and Lauren Lindelof, they changed them characters around. Then we got Brian Tyree Henry who's playing Phastos. And Phastos clearly looks like a Caucasian man, or maybe he could have been passed for a Mexican guy based on this image, this drawing that I'm seeing right now. And they obviously race changed him. He's a black guy, whatever. Then we got Don Lee who's playing Gilgamesh. Gilgamesh, can't really see his face, looks like Black Mask kind of. I don't know what kind of, it could be a blue guy, it could be a green guy, I don't know what he looks like underneath all that armour, but that doesn't matter. Then we've got Kumail Nanjiani who's playing Kingo. Now Kingo in this image here, he kind of looks like an Asian person. He looks like a classic Japanese samurai. He looks like that's what he's based. I think if I can just look up on the image, he looks like he's got a sword. But this like Indian doctor looking guy is playing him. Now this is what I don't get, like you've got a guy that's clearly based on Asian culture, looks Asian, and you cast an Indian guy to play him? Why? Like, cast the Asian guy to represent the few minority characters that have existed in the comics. Let someone play them that's accurate at least. If you're going to change all the white characters, like they change this Asian guy, this Japanese Asian Oriental guy into an Indian guy, more Middle Eastern. I don't know why you're doing that. Then we got, oh, someone that's actually a female playing a female. Angelina Jolie's playing Fenna. She seems like a main character. I think she's like the female, not female version, but you know, the female counterpart of Icarus. Then we got Leah McHugh playing Sprite. He looks like the cute kid character. They've changed him into a girl. Well, yeah, they've changed basically everyone's original race and gender except for Icarus and Fenna, but they've even changed their hair colours. Their hair colours are all wrong as well, so it doesn't matter about that. You can always change that, but you can't paint people's skin because people get sensitive about that, you know, black face and all that. So yeah, that's the cast. I would have been way more excited if they looked like they could play, if they looked more accurate to the roles. I would actually delve into the Eternals material. Probably looking forward to this film. If this was, because we've come into a time now where everything is about politics and diversity, representation, and that seems to be more important than the story, the adaptation, catering to what the fans want. So that seems more important. So my excitement has gone really down. The old me, the Marvel Phase 1 me, would have been researching the Eternals, looking up their stories, getting excited for this movie, but the casting, and I don't know what storyline they're going to do, I'm not that fussed anymore, but I am somewhat excited. We'll see where this goes. I don't mind when the race change or even gender bend lesser known characters like The guy that was in Daredevil, and I think his name was, the black guy. He played that character brilliantly. I remember he was like a big part of the Civil War storyline in the comics. He's quite like a big supporting character in the comics, but he's white in the comics. I don't mind that because he's a very small character, you know. But anyway, moving on to the next one. And we are talking about Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. And this is coming out possibly February 12th, 2021. That's like 2 years from now. The director is apparently Destin Daniel Cretton, never heard of him. The cast is Simu Liu, Tony Leung, I like him, and Awkwafina. Let's read about this. 4 years, fans have been anxiously waiting for the Mandarin to make his presence felt in the MCU. Yep. Well, that's going to happen in Shang-Chi's first big screen outing as we get to meet the villain and learn more about the Ten Rings. Iron Man may be dead and gone, but it's hard to believe there won't be any references to Tony Stark's connection to the bad guys and his organisation. Yeah, so, you know, Iron Man's main villain, Iron Man's Joker, Iron Man's Lex Luthor is the Mandarin, and they ruined him in Iron Man 3. The little one shot they did with him showing that he exists was meant to make up for that, but I don't think it really did. They should have brought him back. I reckon Iron Man, you know what this film should have been? Or better yet, they should have had this film, and they should have had an Iron Man 4, and then maybe kill off Tony in Iron Man 4 or something. I don't know. I know people are like, no, he died perfectly in Endgame, shut up, he died perfectly in Endgame. But I just feel like, how sick would it be if like Iron Man and this Shang-Chi guy were working together against the Mandarin? Like, I know that doesn't happen in the comic, I don't know if it does, maybe it does. But how cool would that be if they're working together against the Mandarin? Because you get Tony Stark and the Mandarin dynamic, and you get the introduction of Shang-Chi, just like you had the introduction of Black Panther in Civil War. Like, and then people will know who Shang-Chi is more. I mean, not that the MCU really needs to. I feel like put Marvel on it, people will go watch it, doesn't matter what it is. But then I don't know. I feel like Captain Marvel only made $1 billion because it was, you know, in between only 2 of the biggest MCU movies ever made, you know, Infinity War and Endgame. If you're in between those 2, you're going to be a tasty sandwich no matter how raw you are. I like that's pretty good. Shang-Chi, how cool would it be to introduce him like that in an Iron Man film, and then have him have his own movie right after, like still the same spot. Maybe you could be in like the Black Widow movie, but anyway, I'm going too far into it now. But this is cool. This is diversity done fucking right. Instead of getting the Iron Fist, turning him Asian, like some people wanted for some reason. You know, people were actually mad that the Iron Fist was cast as a white blonde man, you know, like how he actually is in the comics. That's insane. I've never even seen that level of nuts. But anyway, Shang-Chi is actually, you know, Asian guy. I think he's Chinese. We're going to see some kung fu action in the MCU. That sounds like fun. We're going to see the Mandarin. That's like a lot of fun. This is great representation. The only sad thing about this is that I mean, there'll be some references to him, but how bad did you want to see Iron Man versus the proper Mandarin, his actual villain? You know, a bit more comic accurate Tony Stark and Iron Man, but it is what it is. We are where we are. I don't think we're going to see Tony Stark come back anytime soon. But we'll see. Maybe this film will be set in the past and some mission Iron Man did between Civil War and Infinity War. Doubt it. But yeah, we've got Shang-Chi here. I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, not much else to say about that. Representation is good. Shame Tony Stark's not involved. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. That sounds like a proper comic book title, in the Multiverse of Madness. Sounds like just listen to Stan Lee's voice saying that, it'll be epic. But yeah, this is coming out May 7th, 2021. The director is Scott Derrickson, who directed the first one. The first film was alright, it was pretty good. Nothing to really shout home about or make you want to watch it right away. I feel like Doctor Strange in Infinity War was the best outing of him. Obviously, in the first film, he wasn't fully Doctor Strange yet. He's not the Sorcerer Supreme. I don't even think he's the Sorcerer Supreme in Infinity War. I hope not yet. And he just didn't seem like the Doctor Strange that has these powers. But in Infinity War, he was kicking all kinds of ass. The arm thing still gets me hyped when I see that shit. That was some Naruto levels of fighting between Thanos and Doctor Strange. I loved that. But yeah, so it's got Benedict Cumberbatch, Benedict Cumberbatch, Benedict Wong, and Elizabeth Olsen. That's interesting. So not only is she going to be in, obviously, her own show, WandaVision, she's going to be in Doctor Strange. And if you guys have seen by now, I hope all these videos at the end showing my fan fiction of Infinity War, I alluded to that Doctor Strange and Scarlet Witch were going to work together because they're both kind of magic, they're both reality bending and all that kind of stuff. So it seems weird to not have them together. So yeah, that's really cool. I want to see them work together, see what they do. I don't know if Doctor Strange and Scarlet Witch has ever had a thing in the comics. Like, I'm not talking about a romantic thing, but actual partnership thing where they've worked together. Let me know in the comments below. I'm not sure about that. But yeah, this is a really cool thing having Elizabeth Olsen in there. This is how you use these characters. You just put them around, put them in different movies. This film could be mad. I heard rumours that apparently he's going to go through the multiverse, as the title says, and probably bump into Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man and Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man and go through all these different films from the past. And I was like, oh, I don't know about that. Take it with a massive grain of salt, because I don't think, you know, Sony's going to be happy about that. I know Sony and Marvel playing ball right now with Tom Holland as Spider-Man, but letting them get like footage of the old Spider-Man films, putting it in a film that has nothing to do with Spider-Man at all, is going to be a bit strange. And you know, Sony's going to want some of that P for that a bit. I don't know. I doubt that. I think that's just rumours. It's probably not going to come true, but that would be really cool if like Doctor Strange goes in to like the old Spider-Man films, and they make him like in the background, like some funny YouTube edit or something. But I don't know. But yeah, it could be the lead-in for a live-action Spider-Verse movie. Who knows? Maybe that's why they're gonna have it. They probably beg Sony to let them use footage. But yeah, it looks like it'll be fun. Another one that I'm looking forward to. It doesn't sound like it's going to be SJW or political. Sounds like they're going to actually do something cool here. Hopefully by 2021, a lot of this political bullshit will die down, and maybe I can start getting excited again for the MCU, you know, and they're going to like do castings right. Fantastic Four, I'll get to that. But yeah. Anyway, that's my thoughts of the Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Next up, we're talking about the untitled Marvel and Sony Spider-Man movie. You know, there was a whole bunch of drama going on with Spider-Man being out of the MCU, and then he was back in the MCU, and there was a whole lot of madness. Apparently there's rumours that he's going to be in the Venom movie. There's so much stuff going on with Spider-Man. I enjoyed Far From Home. I thought I was going to hate it, but it was actually pretty good. I think Jake Gyllenhaal stole the show. I haven't even done a Far From Home review, so I guess it's kind of here a little bit. I thought Jake Gyllenhaal stole the show. I loved the effects of Mysterio and everything, got me excited. The ending of Far From Home, they couldn't have left it like that. Like, with everybody knows Spider-Man's identity, J. Jonah Jameson exists. I don't like the bald-headed thing. I want his classic flat top, you know, I want that J. Jonah Jameson. Obviously, but it's sick that we've got the guy from the original, you know, Spider-Man film. They couldn't replace him. It's too good. When he came on the screen, I was like, yes! Jameson! I got so excited. But yeah, anyway, so for now, the new Spider-Man film, Spider-Man 3, probably going to be called Spider-Man Let's Go Home, or Spider-Man You're My Homie, or something with the word home in it. And it's coming out July 16th, 2021. It's going to have Tom Holland in it. We didn't think this would happen, but Disney and Sony Pictures have made up. They kissed and made up. And the Warcrawler will be getting a third solo outing in the MCU. John Watts is in final talks to return to direct, and he's previously said that Kraven the Hunter is a villain he would like to use in a future movie. Time will tell what the direction he takes the hero in after that cliffhanger. I think if they're clever, they should make this film a lot about Jameson. Make this be like Jameson and the Spider Slayers. Get him to get Kraven the Hunter to hunt Peter Parker. You know, this could be really cool. The Spider Slayer of Jameson's robot that chases him. Obviously make it a little bit more interesting. You know, the whole stuff with Michelle Jones, I'm not a fan. I just want the classic characters like Mary Jane and Gwen Stacy. But I don't mind Michelle if she's just like a high school girlfriend or something. And when Peter finally goes to college or university or whatever, he meets Gwen Stacy or he meets Mary Jane, and then we go from there. You know, maybe they're just skipping out Gwen Stacy and making Michelle Jones the girl. Then maybe they become friends. You know, sometimes you're in a relationship with someone and it doesn't work out, you become friends. Then she could literally take the place of the Michelle character that was later on introduced in the comics when Peter was in university, and then he could actually meet Gwen Stacy or the actual Mary Jane. in uni. But anyway, that's not that important, his love interest. What's important is who's going to play Kraven the Hunter if they do Kraven the Hunter. Well, there was rumours, again, take this with a grain of salt, that apparently they're going to make Kraven the Hunter from Wakanda and they're going to make him black. Like, just because you've already introduced Wakanda doesn't mean you have to make Kraven black and from Wakanda. Like, as if that's the only African nation, and as if white people can't be African, you know? Like, Kraven, I'm not actually sure. I think he's African, South African maybe or something, I don't know. But like, you know, let's get the stereotype of the African hunter away and actually have the actual Kraven. If you're going to make a new character as an African hunter, that's fine. But let's just stick with the real Kraven and what he's supposed to be, you know? Like, I'll be interested in that. But yeah, we'll see what happens. You know, obviously I'm curious about this film. Far From Home I nearly didn't want to go see because it was the closing point of Endgame. I was like, after Far From Home I'm done. And I'm still kind of done, but I'm going to check all these films out casually. But we'll see what the trailer looks like. If it looks fun, I might go check it out. If it looks like it's going to be annoying, I probably won't. We'll see. We need more information about this. But it's coming out July 16th, 2021. Thor! Love and Thunder. When I first heard about this, I was so pissed. I wanted to do a video then. This video is not even going to be as passionate because I've calmed down a lot since when I first heard about this. But I was pissed. First of all, let's get into this shit, alright? Like, Chris Hemsworth feels like he's going to take a back seat to like Tessa Thompson and Natalie Portman in this film for whatever reason. Like, why? And like, why are we telling the story of Jane Foster Thor, probably one of the worst legacy characters ever? Like, it's just, what's the point? Why is her name Thor? You know, it's just as bad as when Riri Williams was called Iron Man for some reason, even though Riri Williams is a girl. They had to change her name because they realised it was going too far. Like, she can't be Iron Man when she's a girl. She's probably the worst legacy character ever because she takes a man's literal name. His name is Thor. When it says Thor Love and Thunder, I'm hoping that's for him being called Thor, you know? Like, Thor is his name. It's not a superhero name. It's his actual name. It's his birth name. It's literally like my girlfriend decides to call herself 0088 or Ollie or something like that, because that's my real name, Ollie. Like, if my girlfriend starts to call herself that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. It's like these people don't understand the concept of creating characters and making them stand on their own 2 feet rather than riding on the coattails or having an easy ride by taking the name of a previous hero and then no one still caring about that new version of the hero. But anyway, I'm talking more about the comics here. But then Taika Waititi dropped after being a dick for a bit on Twitter to some fans that weren't very happy about this for adapting a storyline that no one really cared about. There's literal pages in the comics of like feminist rhetoric of Jane Foster's Thor talking to bad guys as if they're talking to these YouTubers on the internet who are not happy with her. What kind of writing is that? It's so stupid. Like that's just some lame dialogue. I really hope they don't say that in this movie. I don't think they will. But yeah, Taika Waititi sort of saved himself a little bit. Everybody was talking about Tessa Thompson's Valkyrie and Brie Larson as Captain Marvel being gay and lesbian together or whatever. And I don't really care if they do that. At this point, I just don't give a shit if they do that. Go on, go for it. And then we got Captain Marvel. I'm shocked that she had a relationship with Rhodes in the comics because they drew her like a pure gay woman. But anyway, I don't really care what they do with that. But he even said people talking about shipping Valkyrie and Captain Marvel probably shouldn't get too excited because I don't think we're going to go down there yet. He said it in a very, very politically correct way so it doesn't look like a bad guy, basically saying, no, that gay relationship ain't happening in my film, star. But yeah, and then we got Natalie Portman's Thor. And everybody is saying, oh, is she going to take over from Chris Hemsworth? Is this Chris Hemsworth's last movie? Maybe he's going to have a smaller screen time and he's going to pass the torch to Jane Foster's Thor and she's going to be the new Thor and it's going to lead into these all-female Avengers crap. If Marvel want to lose money, they can do that, but I don't think that's a good idea at all. So Taika Waititi said, no, this is pretty much a Thor film. Chris Hemsworth is Thor. He's going to be the, you know, like he backed it. So I was like, okay, maybe this might not be so bad after all. Maybe the Natalie Portman being Thor is like just for a brief moment or a short time, maybe just in the third act or something. Like, but I doubt it. They're really hamming it up. They're really like showing Natalie Portman holding the hammer at Comic-Con and all this shit. Like, it's probably going to be a Thor for a long time, this film. I don't know if it's going to be the same Jane Foster that we've seen in the previous films, or is it going to be Jane Foster from another reality where she's literally Thor, and it kind of justifies her name being Thor, because she might be from a different reality timeline, and like a what if Thor was Jane Foster and a woman. But that would mean she's Asgardian, and she's basically Jane Foster in name only. In fact, her name Jane Foster shouldn't even exist anymore. It's just basically, what if Natalie Portman played Thor, and what if Thor Odinson was born a woman? And is Thor a genderless name? I'm pretty sure Thor is a man's name, if you look into, you know, Scandinavian like names anyway. They want to change everything these days, doesn't matter. I could watch this film, but I need to see a trailer first. I need to see what the vibes is going to be. Ragnarok, I thought was so over the top silly, but there was some really cool moments. Like, I think I might like Ragnarok better than Dark World, because Ragnarok, even though it was overly comedic, the first action scene against Cersei was amazing. It was brilliant. There was some cool action scenes with what's her face, Hela, and the jokes were actually genuinely funny. Like, Taika Waititi, you know, whatever you feel about him, he's pretty funny. He's a pretty funny guy. Like, it legitimately made me laugh. But the thing is about even good humour in the MCU, even if humour is consistently making you laugh and it works, that gets old real quick. You can't, like, you know, you can go back and watch Fight Club, or you can go back and watch, you know, put the Joker, the new Joker movie, go back and watch The Dark Knight. Even like Endgame and Infinity War, go back and watch those films, because there's just something there, there's like a substance there, there's like brilliant storytelling, and you just get sucked into that, immersed into that film. Whereas Ragnarok, if all it's doing is making you laugh, and the storyline is just like average or below average, which I think it kind of is, then it's not worth coming back to that much, you know. I've seen Ragnarok like a couple of times, only because I was like, I probably won't watch it again for a long time. Maybe just to see the beginning action scene, but I can just see the beginning action scene on YouTube. You know, the storyline doesn't really excite me that much. So hopefully this is a little bit more serious. I doubt it, but we'll see. It might be just something watching once and that's it. Black Panther 2, man. N-word. I don't know if I'm wrong saying it. It's coming out in May 6, 2022. Recently been announced. Let's read it. Bob Iger recently revealed that director Ryan Coogler, has only just started working on the story for the sequel. So it's clear the cast process probably won't start until next year. Rumour has it that Michael B. Jordan could return in some way, shape or form, but we probably shouldn't believe anything we hear at the time being. It's still very early days. Nah, man. Look. Michael B. Jordan as Killmonger is one of the top tier villains of the MCU, yeah? Like, he's brilliant. His story, he's one of the best parts of the Black Panther film. Like, he had one of the best motivations. You know, his fight with T'Challa, wasn't that great. The CGI was pretty bad. But the storytelling was brilliant. I loved it, man. The first time he comes to Wakanda, he has that fight with T'Challa, and he beats T'Challa and throws him off the mountain, just like the comic book. That was sick. Like, and of course, the final line he had was, I'd rather die free than in bondage like my ancestors, or something like that. You know, that line that he had was a perfect send-off. If you bring him back, it undermines all of that. He's not going to have a send-off like that again, and he's not going to be interesting. Like, what's left for Killmonger? Like, Killmonger served his purpose. Like there's literally, like, what, is he going to be a hero? He's going to be like the black version of Bucky, and Black Panther is going to be like the Captain America, and he's going to go be friends. Like, it's not going to work. Who you shouldn't have killed was Claw. Andy Serkis's Claw was eating it up. He was killing it. Like, he had potential to be like the next Loki. Like, could have been appearing here and there in Black Panther and Fantastic Four storylines, you know, because Black Panther is quite close to Fantastic Four in the comics, and I feel like they could do that with the films as well. But yeah, man, it's such a shame, man. Claw was such a good villain. Like, I'm really pissed off they killed him off. But yeah, I don't know what Black Panther 2 is going to be about, but I'm looking forward to it. More black representation, proper black representation, not like changing characters, race bending and legacy characters. I want to see like what all the peoples are up to. Maybe Shuri could get involved, and we could talk about her becoming the next Black Panther, because that happens in the comic books. But it's not just like you should be the next Black Panther. It's organic. There's like a bit of a sibling rivalry going on there, but I don't know how they're going to play that off. I want to see more of T'Challa's science, because it's not just they've given T'Challa's brain to Shuri, whereas in the comics T'Challa was like Tony Stark. He was basically he had more money than Tony Stark, and he had Tony Stark's brains. He was one of the most intelligent people in the Marvel universe. If you want to dip the list of intelligent people, you got Reed Richards, you got Tony Stark, you got Bruce Banner, you got Hank Pym, and T'Challa was up there, but now they haven't really shown any of the intelligence. The most we've seen of T'Challa's like intelligence and science smarts was him going, my design. Like, that's all, my design. Like his design of the Black Panther costume. I want to see more of T'Challa's intelligence, not just his brute strength, Like, I know it's going to make Shuri not look as smart, but no, like T'Challa is meant to be smart, do you know what I mean? Shuri can be smarter than him, that's fine. They've said that she might be smarter than Tony Stark, whatever. But Black Panther needs to show his smarts, I want to see it. But yeah, that's my thoughts on Black Panther. Who was right about this? Who was right about this? Mahershala Ali is playing Blade. I said it in my review of Alita Battle Angel. The Mahershala Ali guy should play Blade because of how much he looks like him. I said it way before it was announced. Gets announced and he's actually playing Blade. I predicted the future. I've got the time stone. I can read the future. But anyway, moving on swiftly. Mahershala Ali's playing Blade. There's no release date. This is looking like we're getting to phase 5 now, but I'm still going to talk about it. The biggest surprise at this year's Comic-Con came when Kevin Feige brought Mahershala Ali out on stage and announced that he will be joining the MCU as Blade. That means vampires are coming to this shared universe. And with recent rumours pointing to Feige wanting to use Ghost Rider, we could see future stories heading down a supernatural path. Interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing some vampires. I hope they make it R-rated. I hope he can hold a candle to Wesley Snipes' Blade, because it's been so hard to replace Wesley Snipes. They tried a couple of TV shows, didn't work out. But Mahershala Ali looks like he's going to have that power Wesley Snipes had. Wesley Snipes was an actual martial artist in real life, so that's why he looked so good when he was doing those moves. It looked like there was power behind them punches. I hope Mahershala Ali can bring that power as well. He looks the part, but can he act the part? That's what I'm wondering. Also, there was rumours that he might be Muslim in this, even though Blade doesn't really have a religion, or his religion has nothing to do with his character, like Daredevil, for example. I just think it's unnecessary. But those rumours are hopefully bullshit. Just focus on making a movie good. Forget the religion. Don't add things to Blade that he doesn't need. Don't make him deaf. Don't make him blind. Don't make him any kind of don't give him any kind of disability or something, or make him gay or something. There's no need for any of that. Just tell a good Blade story. You're talking about Blade here. If you want to talk about a gay character, find a gay character and tell that story, you know what I mean? Or Muslim character and tell that story. That's why you got Kamala Khan. She's going to be coming out soon. Yeah, moving on. And now we got Captain Marvel 2. Release dates unknown. Probably 2022 sometime. Brie Larson. A Captain Marvel sequel is definitely happening, but there's no word on whether directors Anna Bodin and Ryan Fleck, why don't they have the same last name? I thought they were married, will return, or what form that might take. Recent rumours have claimed that it could adapt Secret Invasion? What? But Secret Invasion needs like all the heroes in it. Are they going to do like a Captain America Civil War type thing, where it's a Captain America film but it has all the other heroes in it? I don't think so. While some believe we'll see A-Force assemble here. How does that organically happen? Like, how do you organically get all women to be the Avengers, just women only, organically, and make it believable? Like, you're wondering, what do you mean by that? Well, what I mean by that is we know there are many male hero characters in the Avengers right now. So what? They're just not available suddenly? Basically, how do you make it not look like pandering? How do you not make it look like it's been by design? Like, it looks like it would be silly. Whatever the case may be, the first installment grossed over 1 billion, so this is happening! Well, Captain Marvel 1 grossed 1 billion. Oh, you know what? I blame some of the YouTubers as well. Yeah, I made a couple of Captain Marvel videos, but just 2. Some of these guys were just making Captain Marvel videos because, Brie Larson's name in the headline for some reason gets you views. But yeah, like, nah fam, like, The reason this movie made $1 billion was some of the stupid YouTubers that kept going on about her. Being the main reason, being in between Endgame and Infinity War, that was not needed. Because she was between Infinity War and Endgame, the two biggest movies in the MCU, people felt the need that they felt like they had to go watch Captain Marvel. So of course it was going to hit $1 billion. I'm still surprised it did, but I wonder how Captain Marvel would have done with everything going on around it. But it came out in, I don't know, 2012 or something. I don't know. I doubt it would have made as much money, but yeah, seems like the MCU can do no wrong. We'll see what happens. Whoo-wee! The Fantastic Four. This is the one I've been dreading. This is the one I've been worried about because I know what Marvel's going to do. I know what the new woke version of Kevin Feige is going to do. He is going to cast Reed Richards as a black person, or Johnny Storm black, or Sue Storm black, or Ben Grimm black. And they'll keep Ben Grimm white because Ben Grimm is going to be... because he's going to be like the Rock form for like majority of the film and future films to come. So they'll be like, we can't make Ben Grimm black because then we can't show off his black skin and show off that he's a black man. You know, like, so they don't need to race change the Fantastic Four. Let's have these guys be classic. These are not another set of iconic characters. They tried it before already. You know, Josh Trank's Fantastic Four. They tried to make, you know, Johnny Storm black with Michael B. Jordan. Didn't work out. Johnny Storm played an actual black character called Killmonger. Worked out brilliantly. Now, don't change the races. Make them the classic Fantastic Four. As classic, make them Jack Kirby's Fantastic Four if you can. This could be really exciting. I want to see Johnny Storm and Peter Parker have some kind of rivalry or banter like they do in the comic books. Like, I read the original comics, SpiderMan comics, and Peter has so much banter and rivalry in just like the first 20 or so issues of Amazing Spider-Man, and it's so much fun, like because Johnny Storm is like maybe a couple of years older than Peter, and there's so much rivalry between them. I love Stan Lee's writing back there. It's so much fun. Then they become best friends later on in the comics and stuff like that. So I really want Johnny Storm to have some kind of interaction with Spider-Man, Tom Holland's Peter Parker. Also, Black Panther was first introduced in a Fantastic Four comic. Maybe they can do a role reversal here and like maybe introduce them in a Black Panther movie, or maybe have Black Panther involved in this film somehow. Like, that would be cool. And it could lead into the Illuminati with Reed Richards and, you know, T'Challa and Doctor Strange. It's a shame we're missing Tony Stark because he's not going to be in the Illuminati even though he was in the original version of the comics, because he's dead now, unless they bring him back, but I don't think that's going to happen. But yeah, man, I'm looking forward to the Fantastic Four film, but I'm pretty sure they're going to, you know, cast, like, they're going to change things. They're going to try and make Ben Grimm gay. They're going to make Sue Storm Indian. They're going to make Reed Richards black. They're going to make Johnny Storm trans or something. They don't just make the Fantastic... a little bit of me thinks Feige might just be like, fuck it, we're going to stick to the classic. Because, you know, he's a comic nerd at heart. I think he likes the Fantastic Four, and I feel like he wants to do them right. So I'm hoping, you know, that they get treated well, and we get the OG Fantastic Four guys, and we can have other, you know, representation and people of colour and whatever else in other movies, you know, like Shang-Chi and the Eternals even. And so many other characters can be people of colour. Let's make the Fantastic Four classic, you know, like Spider-Man and everything else. I want to see that. I want to see them, you know, how they're supposed to look for once. Like, even Chris Evans, who was a cool Johnny Storm, just didn't feel like the blonde, swifty hair Johnny Storm. You know, I want to see the proper Reed Richards and Sue Storm. I want them to feel like kind of the classic 60s vibe, you know. There's a very campy, sci-fi, cosmic 60s vibe about the Fantastic Four. I'd love to see the Jack Kirby Fantastic Four come to life, you know. That'll be fun to see them and how they play in this MCU world. If you try and reinvent the Fantastic Four too much, we've already seen with Josh Trank's one, how they've literally tried to modernise the shit out of them. And I'm not even talking about race changes or anything like that, just the clothes they wear, how gritty and realistic they tried to make it. it just didn't work out. So I think they should just go the opposite way and make it as true to the comics as possible. I think that might be what does it. You know. Also Doctor Doom as well. Like, I don't want him to be the first bad guy, because I've done that like 2 or 3 times now. I've seen Doctor Doom, but Doctor Doom does need to be in this universe. Maybe even introduce Doctor Doom before we even get to Fantastic Four. Maybe he could be like a side villain in a Black Panther 2 film, which makes the connection to Black Panther and the Fantastic Four make more sense when their film comes out. And then we could have like Doctor Doom needs to be a recurring villain. He needs to be like Loki, but a lot bigger, and just like dominate the MCU, dominate Phase 4 and 5. Doctor Doom should be a slash between Thanos and Loki. Doctor Doom needs to make his presence felt. There's one clip of the Earth's Mightiest Heroes, probably the greatest Avengers cartoon ever made, and Doctor Doom is kicking the Avengers and Fantastic Four's ass on his own, just fucking murking them. They haven't made that Doctor Doom yet, the boss Doctor Doom. I'm waiting for that, so that's going to be fun to check out. But yeah, that's my thoughts on Fantastic Four and Phase 5. Hopefully they do it justice. Hopefully they don't like go too far with the SJW stuff with it, and I'll be looking forward to seeing what happens with it. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 should be coming out soon. There's no proper release date for that. You know, there was that whole drama with James Gunn. This film's probably supposed to be coming out like this year, I think. It's a shame actually. But, you know, the whole damn thing with James Gunn and the paedophile stuff and Twitter and everything, I don't even care about all that anymore. But yeah, once James Gunn is finished working on Suicide Squad, he'll return to the MCU to find direct Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Not much is known about the movie, but it does sound like it will wrap up this story of this version of the team. As of right now, your guess is as good as ours when it comes to what that means for the fates of our favourite superhero movie a-holes. Right, so obviously I'm thinking this one's going to have Adam Warlock involved, because they introduced him at the end of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Ayesha looks like she's going to try and use Adam Warlock to take out the Guardians. Obviously Adam Warlock's going to have a change of heart, and he's going to join the Guardians team, maybe even strike up a romance with Gamora. There might be like a love triangle with Gamora, Adam Warlock, and Chris Pratt's character, Star-Lord. So, because you know Gamora and Adam Warlock get it on in the comics, I think they have like a little thing in the comics, whereas Star-Lord and Gamora have getting it on in the film, so they could make a nice little love triangle there. I know you're thinking, what, that comes out of nowhere, why would they do that? Well, the reason they'll do that is, if you remember at the end of Endgame, Gamora's not the same Gamora we know. Like, Gamora's basically been replaced with a new version of her. The Gamora we know is like living in the Soul Stone. The Gamora that's from Endgame is new. She doesn't have any feelings for Chris Pratt's character. She hasn't grown to love him like the old Gamora did. So this Gamora might have feelings for Adam Warlock when she sees him. We'll see what happens there. They really missed a trick with Adam Warlock. He really should have been, like, even the way he really should have been like a main part of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. So then we could see him and have his dynamic with Thanos in the Endgame and Infinity War. But even then, they could have still introduced him at the end of Infinity War and have him like be a smaller role in Endgame. He doesn't need to beat Thanos, just like Captain Marvel shouldn't have beaten Thanos, but he could have been introduced then. Because if you look at the time period, Adam Warlock was introduced at the end of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, which was in 2014. Like, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 came out in 2017, but the storyline was set in 2014. So there was like, whoa, like 4 or 5 years in between where Adam Warlock could have come out, could have had a change of heart. And this film could have been a prequel showing all of that. Or this Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 could have been even a sequel. They don't need, if they explain it well, they don't need to even see all of that stuff, because it's quite predictable. They're going to bring out Adam Warlock, going to fight the Guardians are going to probably lose, then they're going to win, and Adam Warlock's going to have a change of heart and then fight Ayesha, or another big bad, maybe the Magus or something. But yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 sounds like it could be good, it could be fun. I get to see my boy Adam Warlock, but I'm not as excited, because the whole point of Adam Warlock is to see his dynamic with Thanos. Like, if the Joker, it's like having the Joker without Batman. You know, or having Batman without the Joker, or having Lex Luthor without Superman. You know, like Adam Warlock and Thanos, I want to see them together, but Thanos is dead now, and Adam Warlock is here. It's like, what? And I want to see the Infinity Gauntlet storyline with Adam Warlock. You know, it's all kind of fucked up, but Adam Warlock can do other things. We'll see what happens. Woo! Finally at the end of the video, but my talk about Phase 4 is not over yet. If you haven't noticed, I haven't talked about any of the Disney Plus shows. So that's going to be a separate video on its own. I don't know how long that one's going to be. This one was long enough, like nearly an hour long. If you made it all the way here, thank you very much for watching. I'm thinking about possibly uploading each category of films separately into shorter bite-sized clips, so you can sort of see Blade on his own video, or you can see Black Widow have its own video, or the Eternals have their own video. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below if I should do that. I'm probably going to do it anyway, to be fair. This is a long video, not everyone's going to want to watch it, but I still want people to get my opinion on certain films, so I'm going to upload separate clips as well, probably daily or something. I'm not going to upload it all at once and saturate the thing. So yeah, if you like the video, give us a like, subscribe, hit notification bell for notification. Let me know what you guys think of Marvel Phase 4 in the comments below. And again, the Disney Plus section of Phase 4 is coming soon as well. That's probably going to be a long video too. Oh yeah, and please, if you love the MCU, if you're here, I think you do, please check out my fan fiction animated version of Infinity War. How I would have liked Infinity War to have gone. It's pretty cool. I'm in the middle of editing my second part to that. It's taken a while. I don't know when that's going to be out, maybe next year or something. It's taken a long while. I've never really had a chance to balance everything out. But yeah, check it out. Peace.
How can you not love death when it generates this much power?
Says Thanos. He says it's a shame such a unique creature must die. Then Thanos lifts his gauntlet in order to kill her. But it's not working. Thanos is shocked that his gauntlet's power is being trumped by a godlike Scarlet Witch who has become anger and vengeance incarnate.